Hi, it's Cindy Fodor with Stamp the Love, and it's Make It Monday. Time to stamp, guys. I'm so excited. Have a fun, actually, two projects to share with you, but I'm going to demo one of them and just give you a few tips with the other one. And I'm highlighting a stamp set that I haven't shown you yet, I don't think, called Happy Holidays, and I'll show you that in a second. It's actually a bundle, and it's a bundle that I'm going to be highlighting for my October stamps in the mail. So I thought I'd pull it out, just start playing with a little bit, and just mention that to you so that you keep an eye out for that information when that comes out. And I'll give you a sneak peek of those projects later. I don't have everything done for that yet. So just going to show you the set tonight and get you excited about it. I do want to make sure I tell you we are in the last 3 days of celebration, so you don't want to miss out on any of that. I also have a special event going on right now in preparation for World Card Making Day, which is Saturday, the October 2nd. Now, I do have a Zoom plan for that. I'll be showing some of our kits, and we'll be doing some door prizes. So make sure that you let me know you want to be in on that. You will get in automatically when you place an order for my fundraiser. And you don't have to order our kits. You can order anything. But I want to highlight the kits just because I think that I have missed sharing how great they are with all of you. So I'm gonna I have that link in my comments right now, not the comments, in the description of my video. So you can check on that link. It takes you to my email that talks about everything for that fundraiser. It gives you links and everything in order to place your order for that. And once you place an order, you get to pick. I'm going to flip over here so that you can see my the flyer that I made. And so once you place your order, you get to pick one of these three nonprofits that you would like to support with my commission from your order. So all of my proceeds from these orders will go towards one of these nonprofits. And if you don't care which one, I will be picking Tidings of Peace, which is a local inner city outreach Christian school near here. So my heart is really connected there, and they do an amazing job of reaching the inner city kids and trying to keep them out of trouble. So, but anyways, so check that out. If you just once we're finished here, go to the description of my video, and you'll be able to see that. I will tell you right here at the top, I have the host code that you can use on my website there to place any order, and that order will connect you automatically to this fundraiser, okay? WDNMXXG. That is the host code for this fundraiser, okay? All right, let me just make sure that we are doing okay here. And it's somewhere. All right, there we go. All right, let me just say hello. Hi, Karen. Hi, Linda. Hi, Laura. Hi, Sylvia. Thanks for joining me tonight. All right, so here's the stamp set that I want to. Well, I'm going to show you a couple stamp sets, but this is the main one that I'm going to highlight tonight. It was one that caught my eye when I first went through the catalog, and it has a punch. Did I not bring that in? It has a punch that goes with it. It's a holly punch. Not using that tonight, just because I'm just doing the bird and showing you some coloring with the bird and the holly itself. The punch does not punch out this holly. It punches out a cute border, which I can show you. I'm going to open my card so you don't see the front of it. But I did a little piece on the inside of the card just so that I could show you what that looks like. Okay. And then I have another card that I want to show you how I use this in a non-Christmas way. And I use this set Create with Friends to create this really cool background. And you'll remember this from the last video that I did, well, one of the last videos last week, the Threw It Together stamp set. So I pulled that out again, and now that I've discovered it, I will be using it a lot. So you'll see it some more. Okay, so let me show you what I plan to show you tonight, and that is this card. And I hope you can see how yummy and gorgeous those berries are. And I'm going to just show you some coloring ideas with, I don't know, it was amazing. I was playing with it and trying to think what colors I wanted for my bird. And hopefully I can get it to look exactly like it turned out for me. But anyways, and I did use some of our new designer paper. It is called, hold on, let me turn this around here. It's called Peaceful Place, and I tried to lay it so that you could see most of the pieces. And it is just, it's stunning. I just used this for one of the cards for our Stamp-A-Stack that we had on Saturday. You can see the shimmer. Every piece has one side that has silver sparkle embossing on it, and then it has another side that's just plain, but even those are beautiful, and it's really hard to choose which side to use. So I use that just for the background for the bird, but I also stamped on it down here where there was a blank, and I stamped the Christmas blessings to you and yours from the stamp set. Okay, I'm also using, just to pop it up a little bit, one of the tags from our tag dies, our 2 tag dies. Well, it's not 2, but two different designs in several sizes. Okay, so let me, I'm just going to pull out my scrap paper here because I'm using blends, and you know, you always have to make sure you have paper underneath because the color's going to blend through. And I did start a little bit because I don't want to have to sit here all night and color for you. So I did color one of them, and I have some of the cutting done. It's just a little easier to color if everything isn't completely cut out. Now, some of the colors that I'm using, I have the Cherry Cobbler, I have the Granny Apple Green, I have the light of the Mossy Meadow, and I have just the dark So Saffron. I wanted a little bit for the beak. And then I have the light Crumb Cake. So those are the colors that I'm using. And I'm going to start out with my light Crumb Cake. Actually, funny thing is, you don't see this, but I actually started out putting a little bit of yellow on its belly, thinking that maybe I wanted some yellow. But it turned out that I ended up not even, you ended up not seeing that. But I thought I'm going to throw that on there just because. And then I'm using the light Cherry Cobbler. And I'm going to just come in here and just do a little color around his wing. And then I'm going to come up here and fill in the rest. I love how our artists make it so easy for us to sort of see where shading needs to be and that type of thing. And I don't want to, I'm just going to go ahead and fill all this in. You know, I always start with my light color, and then I come in and shade with my darker blend. And please, if you have any questions, give me a holler. I know my phone is about dead, so if I don't get to see your comments here, I will definitely read them afterwards and answer any questions that you might have. So I'm going to come in here now, and I'm going to add just a little bit of, oh, I forgot this, my Cherry Cobbler one's getting a little bit bad, but I'm just going to add some dark color here where the wings, where the feathers are, and especially here where the shading is. I don't know if you can see that, but there's little lines. Let me zoom in just a little bit for you. There's some shaded lines here on the feathers, on the wings. So I'm going to just add a little bit of color there. And let me go ahead and put some here. And then a little bit on the tail here. All right, now I'm going to come back in with my light and just blend that in a bit. I don't want to see too much lines where those colors meet, so I'm just blending that in. And I'm going to come down here and blend that as well. Okay, now, make sure I don't get out of screen here. I'm going to come in here and put a little bit more red here. Now what I want you to see is what happens to that red when I add the crumb cake to it. So I'm going to come up here first and fill in around his eye. I love that white spot in his eye. It's so perfect, and it, you know, as long as I don't go over that, it will stay there. All right, so I'm going to just take my crumb cake and I'm going to go over this yellow, because when I colored it, I decided, I don't know if I really want the yellow. I think I want crumb cake. But look what it's doing. It actually is acting like a color lifter. Do you see how it's lightening that where I have the cherry cobbler? And I thought that was pretty cool because that gives me a new look. And I didn't have to use my lifter to create sort of a void there. It actually took the cherry away a bit and left my crumb cake. Okay, so I don't have a white spot there. Instead, I have the crumb cake. So anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. So I don't know if you think that's cool. I'm going to go ahead and just crumb cake this a little bit. And then I'm going to come back with my yellow. And I'm going to add a little bit of yellow on top of that. And then I'm going to do his beak in yellow. All right, let's see if we like how this looks. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I like how this sort of feathered in here so that it looks a little hairy. And it's, you know, there aren't any lines there to say like, oh, here's where this color ends and this one begins. And the red is actually sort of seeping out and feathering out into where I colored that ink. I do see that I can still see where I colored here, so I'm going to just blend that out a little bit. Of course, every time you go over it with your pen, you add another layer of color, so I'll just color it so that it's a little feathered looking. Okay. All right, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to grab some scissors here and just finish snipping him out. I did his legs already, or his feet, since that's the hardest thing. Again, this is a bundle, but it's a bundle that has a punch with it. So this little birdie either has to be not popped up, or you have to cut him by hand, which it really isn't too hard. And for this card, I don't mind if there's a little white showing because I'm putting him on white, so that's not going to show. But I'll show you what I did to the other card, that's the next card, because I definitely didn't want any edges to show on that one. So I treated that one a little bit differently than this one. All right, so there's that. Let me show you how I did the holly real quick. So I started with, well, I'll do the berries. Started with my light again. And when I colored these, I left just a spot of white, sort of like his eyes. I left a spot there in the center. And then I just came in with a little bit of the darker and created a little bit of silhouette around there. And then I'm going to start with my green. So I'm actually using 3 greens here, just because I think it's fun sometimes to not be stuck in the same old, same old. And sometimes if you just use 1 green, it can get pretty boring. So I'm going to go ahead and just color all of these with the light. That's not how I did that one. I probably was a little, I don't know. I don't think it made any difference how I did it. So I'm just going to do it like that first with the light. And then I'm going to come back with the dark Granny Apple Green. And again, you can see where the lines are. I'm going to come in and I'm going to shade in those areas where that darkness is, and maybe a little more as well, like up here, up on this side. And then I'm going to actually come in with that 3rd color, and I should say it's not the same shade, and this one is Light Mossy Meadow, and I'm just going to add a little more shading here at the base. And then I'm going to just pull that color together with my light Granny Apple again, because I don't want to see those, I don't want to see where those colors end. I sort of want them to blend together. And that just gives you, and it just looks more realistic, gives you a little extra color. And let me just snip this one out. Again, these are really pretty easy to cut too. Just doing little, except for the berries here, you have to go around them. But these, the holly makes it really easy. You're just making little circles. And again, I don't really care if there's white showing because, again, it's going to be on a white card. So I have all of one side cut off so that it would stay together so I could color it. And one more. Okay. Let me just scoot this stuff aside. All right, so now we have all of our pieces. I have my tag here, and I don't think I brought that in here. I used our black marker and just created a little bit of lines here where the bird's feet are going to be. So I just sort of, did a little squiggling like that. And I'm just trying to be careful because I put crystal effects on here. Well, we don't sell that anymore. I don't, except for the glittery one. This is the fine tip glue, which is just like crystal effects. And I just put that on there, and I actually touched it, so I put some more on because it made it flat. This one is pretty good. It's probably close to being dry, and you can see how beautiful that is. It just makes such a nice effect. So I will show you how I did that in a second. All right. Let me grab these pieces. So I cut the black at 5 1/4 by 4. And so then this designer paper I cut down just 1/8 of an inch. So it is 5 and, let me just think a second. That's 5 1/4, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, I believe. Whoops. I just turned everything over there. And I didn't stamp my greeting on here, so I will do that next. Looks like I got a little glue on the outside there. All right, and you do want to be careful in this paper because it is very smooth. When you stamp that, you want to be really careful that you let it dry so that it doesn't smear. And I will try to be careful now that it will be in my way while I'm putting everything together. All right, so that Christmas Blessings comes from the stamp set Happy Holidays with the bird. All right, now let me set that aside just for a minute. I'm going to add some ribbon. So what I did was I took a piece of this glittery black organdy ribbon, and I think I have this tiny piece of it's a tiny piece of real red, or you can use I could use some of our twine, our Baker's Twine Essentials. I'll see if that red piece is big enough for me to actually tie. I just wanted to tie something around here, and I sort of just wanted to highlight our red, even though the bird and the paper's cherry cobbler. What happens when you put crystal effects or that glue on is that it will change the color of your coloring a little bit, and so it definitely looks more like real red. So this will help to pull that together. And then I'm just going to add some dimensionals to that. And of course we need plenty because it's a fairly big piece. Oops, that one already came off. So I'm going to do 4 here, and then I'm going to put 1 in the center. And that's ready to go on here. Okay, and now I'm ready to put my bird on, and I didn't pop him up since the tag was popped up. I might pop up his tail a little bit if I have just a little piece here of an edge. I might put his tail on a piece of dimensional so it's not just hanging there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little adhesive here. And I want him standing on my scribble. And it looks like I didn't put any adhesive on his feet, and they're sticking up in the air. That's not good. So I'll put a dot of glue under there. All right, so next we'll put our berries on. And I popped the one up. I'm not sure that it needs it. I'm going to go ahead and just put some green glue on here. Looks like you can use either side of these, either the side you colored or the opposite side, because they're both pretty cool. And this one's just going to tuck under there a little bit. Of course, I want it to be on the card so that the card can fit in the envelope. And then we'll do the same with this one. All right. Hi, Diane. Thank you. All right. Okay. All right, so that is finished except for the shiny part. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This little cap, there's several caps here. You have to just be careful. You only want to open the white part. And that pulls out a pin out of the center here. When you put that pin in there and you always keep that shut correctly, it does not clog up. I know some people do not believe me, but I'm almost 100% certain that if you put it closed correctly and you use this correctly, it does not clog because that pin keeps it open. So I'm trying not to get bubbles as I'm doing this, trying to be really slow and methodical. And I'm just making a circular pattern. And you want a decent amount because you want it to sort of bubble up a little bit. Because as it dries, it oh, I got a bunch of bubbles right there. I'm not sure what that was about. As it dries, it can flatten if you don't have enough. So I like to make sure it's nice and convex, not concave. And I'm not happy about those bubbles, so I'm not sure. There's a ton of them. It's almost like there was a piece of something in there. If if I could work them out a little bit. Oh well, we'll keep them to the side at least, right? So that they're not in the center. And I'm going to put a little bit more of this in the center. And I know that you probably can't see this really well, but I really tried to take it right to the edge so everything is nice and round. And oh, it's just so beautiful. I love the look, and it's really hard to not want to put that on everything. So let me just give you a little, hopefully you can see that. Okay, so that's that one. Let me set this aside so I don't stick my big fingers in it. Let me get rid of some of those colors, but I need some of them. Okay, and I've got trash laying everywhere. Let me clean that off real quick. When you're fussy cutting, you tend to make a lot of... All right, so the next one that I want to show you is totally different. So I want to prepare you. I don't even have all of my paper here for this card. But, so I'm using blues. I'm using crumb cake. Okay, so just be prepared. This one is totally, totally different. All right. Maybe I'm not going to show you till I show you the bird. How's that sound? I'm not going to show you this card. All right. So we're going to do some no-line watercoloring. And I'm actually going to stamp the bird in Sahara sand. Let's go ahead and get our scrap paper back under here. And this is still going to give me a really good outline of the bird, okay? I could stamp it off and get a lighter look if I wanted to, but I'm okay with that. And so I'm going to color with, let me grab my other colors here, some blues, and I only brought the one blue. I'm not sure why I didn't grab the other one, but I guess we can make that work. So we're going to use crumb cake and blue. So I have both of my crumb cakes, my light and my dark, and then I have some blue. So I'm going to start with my light crumb cake, and I'm going to go ahead and do his belly here. Sort of like I did the other one, except I didn't start with yellow this time. And I'm going to do his wing. So I just want you to know that I'm not a wildlife connoisseur. Like, I'm not into watching, I love watching birds, but I have never been into like knowing what kinds of birds are what. Like my husband and his family, they're what bird is that? I have no idea, because I just look at pretty birds and say, well, there's a pretty bird. It has yellow or blue or whatever on it. I don't know what they are. Anyways, I'm really mad that I don't have my other one in here, but we're going to be using just blue and tan this time. So I'm going to come in here and fill in blue. And I'm actually going to go over the line because I want it to also change the color of the line of the outline. Normally I don't care because, you know, if you do black, it's going to show no matter what anyways. But with this one, I don't want the line to be quite as visible. All right. And sometimes it really doesn't matter. Like, now I'm going to come back in here. I think I want his face to stay a little white there. I sort of like that. I'm going to come back in here with my tan. Whoops, I wanted my light tan, sorry. And I'm just going to blend this color a little bit. Remember what it did before? It just sort of pulls the color away. You see how it's doing that to the blue? And I'm only going to do that in areas. I don't want it everywhere. Alright, so let me come in with a little bit more blue here. I'm going to bring some blue down here, just to give a little bit of shading. And I really, really like that face white. I know I'm losing it. Again, coming down, just trying to blend that blue out a little bit. And I might come in with the darker tan and just darken that a little bit. And then I'm going to come in here with the darker tan and just let his little feathers get a little bit more color on them. Come in and just blend that all out again. Okay, let's blend this together. Decide how far up here I want his white to go. Maybe I'll leave that there. I just love how these lines show here, and you can see the, not the lines, but the drawing that the artist did with the stamp. And I think I want just a touch of blue to come up around here. Hopefully I don't destroy it and make it completely unbird-like. Okay, I'm just going to add some of this here. And again, I'm going to come back in with just a touch of yellow. Not all birds have yellow beaks or legs, so I don't want too much yellow there. And I don't really want to take the time to cut this out, but I did want to show you something with that. So my other bird is a little bit different than this, and I'm going to come back in with just a little bit more dark here. And just blend that a little bit more. Okay, it looks like he went through a dust storm. So what I did, I'm just going to cut part of this to show you. What I did is I cut this out, and then I came in with the blend and just filled in any of that white that showed, because it's too hard to try to cut right on the line, but you can see here where the white is. So if I just take my lightest tan, my light crumb cake, and I just take it carefully around there, I can totally make that disappear, and I don't have to cut that very carefully. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, so now before I show you that card, by the way, this bird is much prettier than the one that's on the card, so don't judge, because that was my first try. All right, I want to do my background with those stamps I was telling you about, with the Create with Friends. And as I was building this card, I was just like, I wanted something on the background, but I was also already using an embossed piece, so I didn't want to emboss this. I just wanted it to be stamped. And so I found this stamp set, and I thought create is a perfect word because it's what we do, right? It's what we love. So I just popped a bunch of creates on here randomly, sort of randomly, but with a pattern, right? And then I chose together to just fill in. I got that a little crooked. All right, so that created my background. And last but not least, this is the card. Are you ready? Okay, so this is my card. That's a non-Christmassy card with the set. Like I said, don't judge my birds. I really like this one better because I have less color on it, and you can see the design a little bit more for the wings. With this one, I ended up coloring it. I think I accidentally colored over the eye, so I had to use my gel pen to put that dot back on its eye. So he sort of had some surgery, so he's a little under the weather. But anyways, I still think I love the colors together. This is Misty Moonlight and Crumb Cake and a little bit of Night of Navy that's embossed with the textile embossing folder. And then I embossed You Are Capable of Great Things for my saying. So anyways, I hope you like that. And I hope that gave you a little encouragement to use your blends. You know, I'm not perfect, and every one that you do is going to probably look different, and that's an okay thing. So there's two totally different cards done with Happy Holidays stamp set. Okay, so thanks for joining me. Let me know which one you like best, and yeah, check back next Monday. If you missed any of my videos last week, Monday through Thursday, I did one every night on Celebration. So go to my Facebook page and just look for the videos or media and then videos, and you'll be able to catch any of the videos that you may have missed last week. All right. Thanks, ladies, for joining me. Take care. God bless.